Since 2006, I have hit the publish button on my blog over 2,500 times. I've sent thousands of emails to my newsletter list. I've poured my heart into hundreds of thousands of followers and social media posts across several platforms. For a lot of years, writing was my exclusive way of communicating with my audience. I knew my ability to write was an asset as a business owner. And like my dad always said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I have to say, when I began experimenting with using my voice online, I realized that there was something powerful about connecting with people in this way. So case in point, here we are on the podcast, and you can hear inflections in my voice that transcends words on a screen. At events, when I'm standing on a stage, you'll hear the passion I have for helping business owners build a life and business they love. When you hear me chat during live videos, you'll hear the real me, the real-time, unfiltered, tell it like it is version of myself that just, audio can't edit that out. And now I found the same thing to be true as I regularly host rooms on Clubhouse. Now, before y'all think I'm going to share like a coming out story, like a popper coming out at a debutante ball and having a Cinderella moment on Clubhouse, this ain't that story. I have to tell you that my first experience on Clubhouse was awful. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, Clubhouse is a new social app. It's a platform that is audio only. I'm going to get to that in a second, but let's kind of just park it here for a second. My experience on Clubhouse, it was pretty bad. Okay. Because I knew that it was something I wanted to start participating in. People were sharing information and I was listening, consuming in a very powerful educational way. And I was like, wow, I really got to get on it. I really want to get on it. So I talked to the team and I said, I think we should have a practice run. Let me try to figure out what this platform is. And it was like late one night, it was around 8:00. And I opened up the app and I'm like, I'm going to start a private room and I want just a couple of my team members to join. And I was waiting for them to join and I couldn't figure it out. And then I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to go live and we'll see what happens. So I hosted a Clubhouse. I made it public and nobody joined. I was talking to myself for around 7 or 8 minutes. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a long time, but when you're talking to yourself out loud publicly for 7 to 8 minutes, you look like a lunatic. And I was like, how does this thing work? Like nobody is paying attention. And then, around 8 minutes in, one person came into the room. And the thing with Clubhouse is you could see people who are there. And around minute 12 or 13, there was about like 8 people. And I kept on asking people like, hey, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? I'm here to answer your questions. Nobody would raise their hand. And on this app, the way that you raise your hand is like basically somebody would unmute their mic and ask you a question. So just imagine the agony. I'm sitting there around 14, 15 minutes of trying to find out content to share while people are just listening. And I wanted to die 1,000 deaths. And then finally, one brave soul of a girl raised her hand and we had a conversation. And when I finished that first chat, I thought to myself, that sucked. Like that was my real thought. I was like, that is so hard and it's so awkward and it feels so vulnerable and revealing. But I have to tell you, since that first time, I have dedicated to sitting in the suck and making it less awkward. But now every time I open a room, it gets a little bit easier because number one, you're now used to the slow buildup and you're now used to people being really careful when they ask questions and they're just as nervous as you are. But before I share more about my experience and why I think this new platform is really awesome, I need to say what I always say about any social platform. The only way you see results is if you are consistent. Consistency is the secret. But before we talk about consistency, let's learn more about the platform. This app has become one of my favorite places to hang out, and I have been fascinated with how many industry leaders are using their voice to network. People are learning from each other. They're sharing these really incredible ideas. And what I have been witnessing are people building genuine relationships with their dream clients. So friend, I have a question for you. Are you ready to get your message out in the world too? Because if you are, I want you to keep listening and learn how you could use your unique voice on this powerful social media platform to grow your business. In case you're like me and you need a tangible way to visualize this, side note to all the creatives who are listening and you're so visual, like I always joke with the team, I'm like, if it is not written, if there's not pictures attributed to it, no idea what you're talking about. So if you're anything like me, you can grab my free guide and a quick start checklist at jasminestar.com/Clubhouse 101. So we created this guide because it corresponds with this episode really beautifully, and it's going to help you get acquainted with the terms, how to get started on the app, and how to maximize it for your business. So you can grab it at jasminestar.com/Clubhouse 101, and then you could follow along with the rest of this episode. So, what is Clubhouse? Clubhouse has been the center of attention for many business owners since the beginning of 2021, and it's about to get bigger. It started in 2020, but 2021 is really started releasing a lot of invitations. It is a voice-only social media platform that encourages constructive conversations between industry professionals, celebrities, and entrepreneurs. As of February 2021, this platform is only available for Apple users and it's invite only, meaning you can't join without being referred by a current user. The app is also still in beta. For now, you can reserve your username after downloading the Clubhouse app. But as soon as the app becomes public, I want you to run, don't walk, to Clubhouse so that you can start networking with other business owners and participate in really interesting conversations. As with any new app, Clubhouse has several platform-specific terms. Isn't it funny how quickly we adapt to the new lingo every time a new app is released? Now, I have to tell you, when I first started using the app, which was in January 2021, everything seemed foreign. I didn't understand what terms meant. I didn't know how to go live. I didn't know how to raise my hand. I didn't know what a moderator was. Now, a year ago, we had never heard of Instagram guides or Clubhouse rooms, but hey, here we are. So let's break them down now so that you can get ahead of the curve. Now, I'm going to first describe the word room. So what are rooms? Within the app, users have the ability to start their own or join existing rooms to discuss specific topics. Now, here's the thing about the rooms. They are so diverse. And when you first join the app, it's going to prompt you to select things, industries, topics that you are interested in. So rooms vary from a room called pitch practice, where entrepreneurs can receive feedback on their business pitches from experienced investors. I listen to those. I think they're very interesting. Another room could vary from co-working for creatives. Now, this is where business owners and freelancers can work at the same time. And often it's going to be to the backdrop of their favorite tunes. Yes, people will go on Clubhouse to just have a co-working space in a digital way, which I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually fascinating to watch. Another room is a business Q&A where a panel of industry leaders answer business questions from the audience. Now, again, I have also seen rooms for dating advice. I have seen rooms talking about politics. I have seen rooms talking about The Bachelor. Y'all, the rooms are just phenomenal and tailored to the thing that you're interested in. Now, let's define another term called roles. Now, once you're inside a room, there are 3 different roles that you'd probably want to be familiar with. Number 1 is an audience member. Upon entering a room, you are automatically placed in the audience. Audience members cannot unmute themselves and join the conversation unless they have raised their hand. Now, you raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon in the bottom right corner. And once you raise your hand, then the moderator can bring you or invite you onto the stage. Now, I know this sounds so crazy, right? But I'm telling you, it makes sense once you're in the app. So I want you to look at Clubhouse like it's a convention, right? So you're an audience member and you can be invited onto the quote unquote stage by a moderator. So now let's define number 2, what a moderator is. A moderator. So each room has at least one moderator selected by the person who actually started the room. This person can invite audience members on the stage who then become speakers, and they can also move them back to the audience at any other time. So audience member can be invited by a moderator to speak. Then that leads us to the speaker. Speakers are selected by the moderator to be on the stage. Speakers have the ability to unmute their microphone and join the conversation. There is no limit to how many speakers a room can have. Cool? Are we on the same page? Now that we're familiar with the terms of these roles, let's move into defining what a club is, since the app is called Clubhouse. Users can also join clubs. Now, clubs are kind of similar to groups on Facebook, and clubs are great to connect with like-minded people in their niche. Some examples of clubs are Startup Club, music industry execs, real estate talk, fashion and design professionals, and more. So clubs are free to join, and there's no limit to how many you can belong to. Once you've joined a club, you will be notified when they start or schedule upcoming rooms. And clubs you belong to are going to be listed at the bottom of your profile. So basically, a club is a way for you to self-select more of the topics that you would like to hear. Now that you're familiar with all the terms, you're probably wondering how to grow your business with Clubhouse. Like, how exactly can you network, learn from one another, share ideas, and connect with dream clients? Well, there are 3 main ways business owners in any industry can use this powerful platform to get more clients and customers. The first is to join clubs where your ideal client would hang out. In order to maximize the effect Clubhouse has on your business, join a few clubs that your ideal client would be hanging out in. Clubs are a safe space to be seen, heard, and understood. So this is a great opportunity for you to connect with them on a deeper level and build connections necessary to build trust. So it's very common, like my dream client, it's a business owner, specifically a small to medium-sized business owner. So I find myself joining rooms and joining clubs where I think entrepreneurs hang out. Why? I'm listening to the conversations that are being had. I'm listening to the advice that is being given. And then if I have something valuable to say, I'll raise my hand, which is then empowering me to connect with others. Now, for information on how to identify what types of clubs your ideal client would belong in, there is a free guide linked in Clubhouse 101, that guide that I want you to download, and that will walk you through how to identify, engage with, and market to them within Clubhouse. So you can definitely grab that at jasminestar.com/Clubhouse 101. The second way to use Clubhouse to grow your business is by auditing your boss bio and making it really easy for people to connect with you there. So let's break this down. Since Clubhouse is an audio-only platform with no direct message, at least they do not have a direct message option yet, your profile needs to clearly tell them who you are, what you do, and most importantly, how people can work with you. Your profile should contain 5 key components to prime your ideal client for sales. And I'm going to break that down for you really quickly, but I encourage you to get my guide at jasminestar.com/Clubhouse 101 because there's just so much more information that's going to break it down for you step by step. But the 5 components of a boss bio is number 1, your title. How do you want people to describe you? I need you to use the most basic terms as possible, and I want you to explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. If your bio is confusing, you're going to have a lot of trouble making sales because people just don't really understand what it is you do. Number 2 of your boss bio is your value. In the land of social media, it's benefit driven. There's too many people doing what you do, selling what you sell. So in order to differentiate yourself, I want you to list the benefits of what people will receive from following you. Number 3 of your boss bio is your audience. I want you to get as specific as possible because, again, in like the land of Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, there are riches in niches. When we tell people who it's for, it feels tailor-made for them and they are more likely to follow you. Number 4 of your boss bio is your contact information. This is very basic, but a crucial part in the bio that a lot of people seem to neglect. Like if I was a customer and I wanted to buy your product or service and I'm there on Clubhouse, like, how can I do it? Now, here's the thing with Clubhouse is that you do not have an exit link on your profile, which means that if somebody wanted to buy your product or service, they would have to do it elsewhere. And by elsewhere, at the time of this recording, Clubhouse is connected to 2 other social platforms. Number 1 is Twitter and number 2 is Instagram. So when I am on Clubhouse, I am guiding people to connect with me on Instagram. Why on Instagram? Because they can send me a direct message there and they can also use my exit link, AKA my contact information of how they would be able to find my business. So that's a heads up. Lastly, part 5 of your boss bio is a free gift. Like, what is an opt-in? Like, what's a freebie? What's an ebook? What's a video that your dream customer really needs? To prep your bio for sales, we need to serve our ideal client before we ever sell to them. If you can ask yourself what your ideal client needs, and then you can give it to them for free, you can receive their email address and continue serving them to eventually lead up to the sale. So Friend, let's round this corner here. I know that we're getting super theoretical about Clubhouse, especially if you're not on the app, but trust me, setting the foundation is going to empower you to hit the ground running. So let's chat about the third way to use Clubhouse to grow your business. Regularly host your own rooms. Listen, honey, child, in order to turn your followers into customers, you have to serve them with something they need. You need to capture their attention and you need to build trust. Because when your followers trust you, that's how you make sales on social media. A great opportunity to serve your audience and then gain their trust is by hosting regular Clubhouse rooms to educate, to entertain, or encourage them. Some examples of rooms that you can host as a business owner are like a Q&A with your followers. This is what I most commonly do because it takes the pressure off me having to create content, and instead I'm just responding to their specific questions. Or if you're not having a lot of followers or not a lot of people are asking questions, you could share a testimonial. You could share a story of one of your clients' results. That's very powerful and captivating. On Clubhouse, there's also rooms where there is story time. Yes, somebody will read a story. And there's like hundreds of people who are listening to a story. If you can have a story time on Clubhouse, you can talk about a testimonial of one of your clients' results and people will listen. You can also interview an industry peer. Maybe you bring somebody on and do an interview that people can listen to. That's powerful. Another idea is you can discuss behind the scenes of your business. Like truly, people are fascinated with how the business works behind the scenes. Another idea is a short class about something that's relevant to your business, because then it would position your business and you as the authority in your field. Another idea is to talk about the benefits of one of your products or services, but you're going to get granular. Like you can't just say my product is good or hire me, I'm awesome. You have to talk about the granular pieces of what makes it different, and that is very compelling to listen to. Another idea, I could be here all day and twice on Sunday. Okay, but another idea is to share something that inspires or motivates you. So when it comes to this platform, specifically because it's audio-based, story and narrative are going to be the driving forces. People are compelled not by sales pitches, but by transformations and by narratives, and then having the ability to identify themselves in the story that you're sharing. So, okay, I'm going to take a deep breath because I just broke down a lot. Like here I was, I'm like, let's talk about Clubhouse. And then we just got some like college level, break it down. Let's go and do this. It was a lot of information jam-packed in one episode. So number one, are you still with me? Like, hello, are we still here? Because if you are, words cannot describe how grateful I am that you tuned into the show today. I really care about you. And I really care about your business so much. And that's exactly why I create a lot of free resources, because I believe that education is what's going to empower you to new heights. So for the quick start checklist on how business owners in any industry can use Clubhouse to get more clients and customers, I'd love for you to check out my free guide, Clubhouse 101. You can head to jasminestar.com/Clubhouse 101 to help get your message out into the world, one room at a time. I'll chat with you on the podcast and on Clubhouse again really soon.